Welcome to our Canadian Grand Prix preview and predictions. So, Jack, the Canadian Grand Prix, is it a favourite of yours?
I don't mind it. It throws up many different things. It's a challenging track.
Yep.
It got overtaking spots. No, it's a good track. I mean, I've seen as well weather this weekend.
Yes, that's something that we need to address.
It's coming in.
Yep.
Rain.
Knowing our luck, it'll do that thing where, it rains around the circuit and just not at the circuit.
Well, if it rains at the circuit, then we're not racing.
No, that's true.
A bunch of pussies.
Well, we can hope that it's not major rain. It's not full wet weather, extreme tyres.
But yeah,
you never know. Yeah. But this weekend proves to be a spur up, actually, because it's kind of like the stars are aligning with the Canadian Grand Prix because we've got the weather, the potential of the weather. Last year's results, obviously, Max Verstappen finished first, ahead of Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton completing the podium. That probably won't be the same podium this time out, but one thing I want to note is that the Canadian Grand Prix, interestingly, Max Verstappen probably one of his least dominant races, only winning by 9 seconds, which is quite interesting. So it wasn't like he was all the way down the road. Alonso kept him honest for large portions of the race. So if we couple that along with the fact that obviously Ferrari and McLaren are a bit closer, we know that Red Bull is not good over bumps and curbs. The Canadian Grand Prix uses a track surface that is used by road cars and isn't a proper F1 track, meaning that it's likely to be bumpier than usual or have more resurfacing done. We also know the curbs are sausage curbs, some of them, so they can be bumpy. Yeah. The stars are aligning for another Ferrari or McLaren victory, and it seems like with Red Bull's current form, with what happened last year, and what we know about this year's Red Bull, potentially they might not be the quickest team. But Max Verstappen always does throw up a fight. We have to know that a lot of it is straight line speed heavy, this track, and we know the Red Bull is very quick in a straight line, but we'll just have to see. So where do you think the pecking order kind of stands going into this weekend?
Well, it's different because I feel like the wet is going to throw it out of proportion a lot. Like pecking, like if it was dry, I would be saying Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull in that order.
Really? Red Bull third?
Red Bull would be third in the dry. In the wet, you don't know. It's driver dependent.
Yeah, I think if it's wet, Max Verstappen. You probably see Lewis Hamilton further up the order.
You'll see Hamilton up there. You'll probably see Alonso up there. You'll see probably Norris still up there though.
You'll see probably a Max Verstappen pole, if I'm honest.
You'll see a Max up there. I think the Ferraris maybe a bit further down in the wet.
I don't know. It just depends. And but interestingly enough, also speaking of Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes also bringing upgrades this weekend again.
They're bringing upgrades to every bloody weekend.
They are. They're just trying so hard to just get that car quick, man.
I know.
They are trying their absolute hardest. Ferrari, a team that's not bringing upgrades though this weekend. They will have the same car as they did in Monaco, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So no, not even little knickknacks. They are bringing the exact same car. Obviously with obviously lower downforce because we're going to Canada, not Monaco. But that's interesting. So it could be a shake-up at Canada once again, and I'm really excited given the track layout. When it comes to Canada, though, once again, I think potentially we're still going to have to hold out on the hope that Red Bull are slow for the rest of the season because it's not a traditional circuit still. So we've got to really wait until Barcelona, I reckon, to see where Red Bull really are. And if they're still... And if Max Verstappen in Spain is 20 seconds down the road, then we know that we've just gone to track-dependent circuits.
Yes.
So Montreal still could be a shake-up.
Hopefully, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah, hopefully that's not the case. But either way, let's move on to our predictions then. Your pole position and your top three, please, sir.
My pole position and top 3.
Yes.
I'm going off the weather on this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Don't say Lewis Hamilton, please.
The
For the love
wet
of
is
frickin'
going to
God.
spice this up. I feel.
Oh.
My pole position sitter is going to be Carlos Sainz.
Okay. All right. Bet. Okay. Okay. Carlos Sainz. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's your top
and then
3?
you want my top 3 straight away? I thought you were doing your poll.
Oh no. Okay. My poll. I'm going Max Verstappen.
Oh, you're boring.
No, I'm not boring. If anything, that's off trend at the moment. Everyone's like, can I just point out, this is the first time I've predicted Max Verstappen pole since like round 2. I've said Charles Leclerc every other fucking race.
Yeah, you have, but you predicted a Max Verstappen win since round 1 in every race.
Hey man, I never said I'm predicting Max Verstappen to win.
Oh yeah, well, top 3. What do you want third first? I'll give you third first.
Yeah, give me third first.
Third, Carlos Sainz.
Yep.
Second, I don't know.
You've really thought this through.
I haven't thought too much about second. First is Hamilton.
Oh
second is Norris. Third is Sainz.
The delusion. The absolute delusion. Right, so I'm going Max Verstappen pole. My third place is going to be Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, so
I think. Well, I think you know what? If there's one track I think Hamilton will perform, get podium potentially for Mercedes at, it's Canada.
And in the wet.
He's won 7 times. He's been on the podium the last 2 years, and if it's wet, we saw what happened in China when it was wet. And then he came through. He managed to still secure the podium.
Yeah.
So, and obviously it's a little bit easier to overtake in China. So if he can hold on to that pace, third place for Hamilton. Second, I'm gonna go Max Verstappen.
Okay.
Starts on pole, but I don't think the Red Bull, as you mentioned, will have the race pace due to the bumps and the curves. I think they're gonna have a bit of trouble. And first, I'm going for his maiden victory, Oscar Piastri. I think will win the Canadian Grand Prix. Maybe that's more delusional than yours.
that is
no. I'm going Oscar Piastri. I'm going Oscar Piastri to win. I think Oscar Piastri is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix. I think it's coming, right? He got close in Monaco. He couldn't overtake Charles, obviously. He's been the last few races. His pace has dramatically improved. He's got his tyre wear stuff under control. I think if he's sat behind Verstappen somewhere near the grid, that McLaren has got the pace.
Yeah, but he's got to beat his teammate.
Yes, that's the only thing that's maybe slightly giving me a little bit of.
He isn't beating Norris.
I'm holding out hope. Oscar Piastri is going to win his first race. Our 5th winner of 2023.
Hamilton, Norris, Sainz. That's what we want.
Nah, it's bullshit, man. You know it is. Hamilton ain't getting nowhere near that win. I'm sorry.
He is.
He's not.
He is.
That Mercedes isn't good enough. Even if he was on pole, there's no way.
It is in the wet.
Whatever. Either way, thank you very much. Actually, bloody hell, I've totally forgot. I was about to end the video. No. Right, who's your flop of the weekend?
My flop of the weekend.
Yeah, who's your flop?
Charles Leclerc.
Ooh, Charles Leclerc. Okay, why?
Because I put Carlos on pole and Carlos to get a podium. I think Charles is going to be down in around 8th.
So by your logic, it's going to be
a Sainz whitewash of Charles this weekend.
A Sainz whitewash. Okay, all right, interesting. My flop of the weekend is going to be Sergio Perez. Maybe quite boring.
I see Perez flop every week. Well, at what point does it become normal?
No, but the thing is, though, this season he's only had 2 flops, really.
3.
But I want to point out, though, that I'm giving him flop of the weekend because I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Perez after the new contract signing. So I think there's going to be this kind of sort of expectation of some kind of rejuvenation of Perez. There's going to be some kind of like, well, you've got a contract now, get on with it and perform. And I reckon The Red Bull maybe isn't going to be as quick as it might be in Barcelona in a few weeks' time. So I think Max is just going to be absolutely unbelievable, as he always is, and Perez is going to just not live up to it. So yes. I'm going to say Perez. It might be quite simple, it might be easy, but I think there's going to be that one standout. I was tempted to go with Alonso or Stroll again, but I think Aston Martin potentially might be a bit closer. This
I think the rain might help them.
Yeah, especially Fernando Alonso. And Stroll isn't that bad in the rain either, as we saw Istanbul.
He's not awful. We saw Turkey, didn't we? Got pole.
Exactly. So I think potentially that might help both of them. So I'm going with Perez. That's why.
That's fair.
Who's going to be your joyful driver / team of the weekend? Your biggest good surprise? The driver or team that's going to enlighten you the most this weekend?
It's going to make me happy.
Oh, well, here we go. I know exactly who it's going to be.
Lewis Hamilton.
Fuck's sake.
The win's coming. The win is coming.
As much as I've put Oscar Piastri to win, I'm actually going to say Lewis Hamilton as well. Because I think coming third in that Mercedes is more impressive than Oscar Piastri winning. No disrespect to Oscar Piastri winning his first F1 race, right? But he's got a car that's very much capable of doing it. As we've seen with Lando Norris winning earlier in the season, him coming very close to winning if you could overtake in fucking Monaco last weekend, right? He's come close. So, and by the way, can we just point out, in Miami, if it wasn't for the stupid strategy, safety car, and him getting absolutely punted by Sainz, he could have easily won that race as well. He was within contention.
He could have, yeah.
So, but Lewis Hamilton getting on the podium, I reckon that's different gravy. So, based off my predictions, I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton is also my driver of the weekend, but not because he's fucking won the thing, because, but don't get me wrong, if he wins, then yeah, fair enough. But
yeah,
I think third's fine enough for.
We can't wait. I need this rain to spice things up.
If it does...
I want interchangeable. I want them to start on the wets.
Yeah.
And then I want it to go dry, where they're all like, "Oh, it's dry enough now. Let's switch onto the softs or something." Yeah. 10 laps later, bucket it down with rain again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then inters and then to wets and then back to inters again. Yeah, that could be quite good. I don't know what F1 game you've been playing, but yeah.
It's not. I can tell you now, it's not this one because it does fuck all in this one. It's boring.
It actually does. It's so annoying. It's like once in a blue moon you get interchangeable conditions. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Tell me your predictions in the comments down below, and we'll see you for the stream.